Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, welcome to another episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. My name is Rudy Segura, and we should be talking everything soccer, man. It was overall a good weekend for Houston sports. Obviously, the Dynamo got a comeback win. The Dash did as well. And the only odd one out was Houston Dynamo 2. But before we get started, let me go ahead and introduce who I have tonight. That is starting with Cristian Putalias. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, ¿cómo va? How's it going? Sorry, I was trying to find a post. But I'm doing good. How are you doing, bro? You good?
Not too bad. And before I ask you kind of how your weekend was, let's get a new guy in here, Diego Martinez. How you doing, man?
Who is that guy?
Yeah, who is that guy? We gotta put faces to names.
How we doing? ¿Cómo estamos? Doing great. Happy to be a part of the team tonight for the stream. Happy to talk some Houston soccer, even though I'm all the way up in New York right now.
Yeah. So just to kind of mention who Diego is, Diego took some pictures for us last year at a Houston Dash game in New York, and he kind of reached out, wants to continue to take some pictures, and he's been doing a great job, man. You keep sending new photographers to join the team as well. So, I guess if you want, just introduce yourself. Kind of what your roots in Houston, and kind of like some people get to know you. Don't tell your phone number, your social security. Keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
I'll use it.
Yeah. People start using that. Man, yeah, feel free, dude.
So I'm Diego. I grew up in Houston, but originally I'm from Monterrey, Mexico. I am currently in New York studying communications and, trying to, cover MLS here. But obviously the thing that I love most is covering the Houston Dynamo. I started covering D2 originally, but as Rudy mentioned, I do photo and video with the Dynamo main team and the Dash, and kind of do a little bit of everything now. So, yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Yeah, no, man, definitely. We're glad that you joined the group. Who does not love some good pictures, man? And you, we have you, Aldo, Billy, that's out there. Pretty much, I guess, full time for those two guys, and then whoever's able to make some of the games, like yourself and whoever friends that want to join. I think Francia she's been taking video. She does a good job as well. So we have a good team kind of growing. Everybody's showing a little bit of their talent. So it's always good to have. And what's up, Kyle, man? Good to see you. So it's Kyle Block joins us every stream, it seems like. And we sit about 10 seats away from each other in the stadium. So where I got the new tickets for this year, I look left and he's right there, man. So it's funny to have him close by. And then the other guy that Christian you haven't met, Zach sits probably like 10 seats going up from me. So we're on the center area right there, man. But again, man, games have been really good, especially for the Dynamo. Results have been great. Obviously a 3-game win streak, if I can get that out. The Dash finally get a win themselves, and like I mentioned earlier, Dynamo 2, man, they're struggling a little bit. Let's just Christian, before we get started, man, tell the people how they can connect with us.
Yeah, you can always go to our website at or BayouCitySoccer.net. That's where you're gonna find everything and anything that you guys need. Obviously, all the coverage for the Houston Dynamo, Houston Dash, and Houston Dynamo 2, all the articles that come out there basically daily. You can check those out over there. Social media at Bayou City Soccer, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can check us out there. Go to the YouTube channel. That's where we put the press conferences for all the teams as well. So you guys can kind of, listen to all the protagonistas and what they have to say about, I didn't know how to say it in English, but everything they have to say, about the games pre-match and then post-match as well. So go check that out. But if you want to, go to one spot, just BayouCitySoccer.net, and you can find everything there. And also a quick shout out to Ugly Guppy for, helping us out stay, alive and just kind of out there in the realm of the World Wide Web. So shout out to those guys.
I'm gonna play with the camera, see what looks better. I think that's fine. That's fine. That works. Yeah, no, man. Thanks for letting people know how they can connect with us. Again, let's go ahead and get started. Talking about the Houston Dash. Let's start with them. Uh, they played against a brand new team in NWSL, being Bay. Uh, yes. What do you think about their logo, man? You like that logo, that Bay FC logo? I don't know if you've seen it. Very baseball-ish.
I like their name. Like, is if it's like a like a women's soccer team like Bay,
Yeah, it's
very girly.
the colors on the back, and the only reason I'm messing with because whenever I saw them on the field, or not on the field, sorry, like the gear the fans were wearing at the stadium, I saw a lot of like blue and red, but their logo is white and blue, so it kind of threw me off a little bit. I don't know if you, but they say the Dynamo logo looks very baseball-ish. This is definitely baseball-ish here with that um font on that V, man. But personally, this whole season I've been very pessimistic, and I still am. I was catching heat during the game because I was telling the guys how the Dash were gonna lose. Obviously, they were down 1-0 for most of the game. Then Ordonez gets a goal to tie it up. Then they go up 2-1, and then what seemed like the game-ending goal to tie it up for Bay FC in the 93rd minute, making it 2-2. But it was Havana Sloan that hits that literally, game ending um, long shot that beats the goalie that basically just pass it into the net. But they get the win. Big win for them. Again, I'm not necessarily super hyped yet because I, I'm not buying what they're selling. And again, I don't want to be the pessimistic one, but I just don't see the talent. Maybe it just is not working right now. That's the reality. In theory and paper, you have international players a part of the team, but well, hopefully, Fran makes it work. Again, they went and played against a Newbie that's struggling as well, trying to kind of get the rhythm. So we just kind of find out. But Christian, Diego, did you guys get to see any of kind of how that ended? And if you guys have anything to add, feel free. If not, we can move on.
You can go ahead, Diego.
I mean, I can certainly just kind of say that, like, I feel like there is talent within this team. I really feel like there's a lot of talent. Like, I mean, starting off, I think Ordonez can be a very, very solid striker in this league. And I mean, she definitely proved it in the Bay FC game. And I feel like she'll be continuing to prove it, like during the entire season. Maria Sanchez, we don't have to talk about how good she is. We don't have to talk about how good she is. We already know. And I mean, Nagasato, I think is going to be one of the most underrated signings of the season. That you can mark me on that. I think the real issue here is how they can connect and
Mm-hmm.
how they can all work within like a system. I don't really see it happening just yet. Even if we did pull off a win, it wasn't convincing enough for me to say, "Oh, we are ready to challenge or we're ready for a deep playoff run." I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that just stems from the fact that this team just kind of feels lost at some points. Like they don't really feel like they're flowing as one.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes I've noted Sanchez can go out of position and nobody really fills in. And it's just a lot of those little misconnects that I feel like is really costing us games.
Yeah, no, that's really well put because yeah, I think in theory the way that Fran is changing the tactics from what we've seen in the past of purely defensive, it's going to take a while to get that attacking chemistry going. And yeah, I mean, Ordonez had a hell of a rookie season, scoring like 12 goals, and last season was just a miss, not just for her, but the rest of the Dash players. So she already put two in. You hope that that helps her develop gain some confidence, and obviously bang some more goals in. The difficult part here is they do have like a 10-day break, before their next game. And so a lot of that um build up may eventually end up kind of hurting because again, you kind of have such a long break to kind of come back and build something. It is definitely difficult. But again, the Dash will be playing against Washington Spirit at home, April 12th. They're celebrating what is the 10-year anniversary for the Dash. So they'll have like a lot of things kind of happening as throughout the week, I guess, till the game in April 12th. But it's can they come at play at home April 12th and again a big win because they really need it. Can it be done? Possibly. Just because, like you mentioned, in paper there's a lot of talent there. Now, can they get it together? That's a big difference right there. Christian, what's up, man? You going to this game or not?
Yeah. We are. We're in communications to get something going, but for sure we'll be taking the family, no matter what. So we're getting the minivan ready, and we're gonna load up all the 28 children that I have, and we're gonna be at the stadium.
There you go, man.
So, but yeah, so if you guys are out there, come out to the game, support the Houston Dash. We're gonna be supporting there as a giant family, and if you're there, just say what's up. We'll take a picture or something. I'll charge $5 according to Rudy.
Yeah, for real. We'll definitely talk a little bit more next week. Hopefully we can get Manny or Joey to join in. Let them be start a debate here. I think Diego kind of had some good points as well. And I know Joey loves Dash now for whatever reason. So we'll definitely have to get his points or hear his points across to why he may think that he sees a difference from last year. But let's move on to Houston Dynamo 2, guys. Houston Dynamo 2 and Kenny Bundy, they've been struggling. Can't get a win, can't get points. It's just been difficult. I think the roster has improved tremendously from seasons past. But unfortunately for them, they just can't, again, finish out games. So they did lose against Austin FC last week. They played on Thursday at SaberCat Stadium, and they'll be playing again at SaberCat Stadium on Thursday. So this time against Minnesota United 2. So should be a good one. Christian, we'll start with you since you tend to do the Tuesdays articles. What do you want to add about what you saw against the Austin match and them losing again?
Yeah, just like you said, another week, another loss, and it's kind of like the tale of it's kind of two stories, right? On when it comes to Dynamo, those obviously the sporting side when it comes to having the results, and then in the pitch, and then the sporting side when it comes to having the results when it comes to developing players. And that's one of those things that obviously Kenny Bundy, he's gonna have to be in that middle line and kind of towing that line in the way of. We need results, obviously, but we also need to make sure that the guys get minutes, make sure these guys, there's still guys making debuts, and, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids that, are going out there and playing, their first maybe professional or semi-professional, however you want to put it, game and match, with a lot of pressure, with a lot of points, with people watching, with everything that entails, becoming a pro or being on that road to becoming a pro. So it's a difficult task for sure. I think, you mentioned the turnaround on the roster, and I feel like maybe the first couple of years it was different because it was a lot of older guys that maybe it was kind of like a different mentality, right? Because those guys were, already in their early 20s. They kind of needed to prove themselves. What they needed, what they wanted to do with their careers. These guys, they have the same mentality, but they're a lot younger, so they have a lot more room to grow. And also, as at that age, you still have a lot of room to make mistakes and to learn from them as well. So, Kenny Bundy still he's still positive about it. Obviously he didn't like a lot of the officiating in that game. On the after the game, he talked to the media. He says like he never complains, and it's true. We never heard him complain about referees and stuff like that. He just felt like this one they kind of did him dirty, especially that double yellow and that came to be a red card for Exxon Arsu. I saw it. It wasn't obviously you can kind of see the foul. Maybe the referee was a little harsh to kind of pull out the yellows. He said he was too harsh or too violent or whatever it may be. But you can understand it from one perspective, but also from the coaching perspective as well. It didn't look that bad, and then it also did. So it's kind of one of those, like, it could have been either or. Uh, but I feel like the team, even with a men down, they still kind of kept it together and kind of held their own for a while. And once again, the goal came towards the end. And that's one of those things. I mean, if you look at the games, all the games have been lost by one goal. So it hasn't been that they've been extremely dominated by the opposing squad. It just happens, mistakes at the end. Most of these games have been scored. They've been scored on towards the end of the match. So maybe lack of concentration and stuff like that it may be, but also that comes with experience, with age, and everything in between. So, I mean, me personally, I'm still, obviously, I'm not going to be the first one to say Kenny out, because I feel like Kenny is a great person when it comes to leading young men into becoming professional soccer players. I feel like he's kind of bred for that. And obviously, I'm sure he's going to want to move on from that role at one point in his career as a coach. But I feel like now this is like the perfect time, just the way that he understands the game, the way that he talks to, about the game, and also the way that he talks about his players. I feel like it's like the perfect combination of having a great coaching, great mentorship, and also, a great way to build up these players and hopefully, moving them up to the first team eventually. There's a lot of potential. Honestly, I think this is the most potential we have ever seen in a Houston Dynamo squad. So I'm just excited, maybe in a year or two, what players we can poach from the second team to move up to the first team and, contribute there for, US Open games or whatever it may be, that we have to play in the future. So
Yeah, no,
depth.
I feel you, man. I think, yeah, the results haven't gone their way, but the team is playing well. You see them move the ball around well. The new pieces, which is a lot of them, have been, stepped up to the plate, whether they be academy players or, in all honesty, I think Exton has been probably the best player for the team, which was a great
By
pickup.
far.
Obviously he gets a red card, so he doesn't miss the next game, right? It's the only one they play against Austin. Can't remember. The rules are so wacky for MLS Next Pro.
It's weird.
But yeah, he's just been absolutely a monster on that right wing. He can dribble. He has the speed. He can finish. Obviously, he had scored 2 goals in the first 2 games of the season, just going blank against Austin FC. But yeah, I think overall, you look at this team, and I believe Kenny mentioned how they've been playing well, but they're gonna get the final score is really what is going to be the headline for fans and everybody looking at the result, and it may be a little unfair, and it's true, right? Anybody's going to see it and it's like, oh, they lost, they're not good. But when you see the soccer that's being played, I think that it's still a long season. They are going to be able to kind of put something together as long as they stay healthy, and wouldn't be surprised if they are near the top of the table at the end of the season, just because of the way they've been playing. They just need to be able to find the back of the net. And it's true, too, that you didn't have your starting goalkeeper and, the last game in Saber Valdez. So, granted, he has gotten quite a few goals scored on himself and what could be called errors on his part of just, parrying the ball straight to attacking player that puts it away. But sometimes you need luck, and right now the luck is not on their side, and you hope that that turns around. And Dale, you mentioned that you took pictures last year. You got to see a couple of those games live, in the past seasons, and what's the difference maybe that you've noticed now?
I mean, the biggest difference, honestly, is kind of like Chris mentioned, the mentality is a little different this season, and it's a lot younger. It's a lot. I feel like it's a lot more improving than last season. I remember last season seeing a bunch of guys. Like, I remember Thor making a couple appearances, Griffin Dorsey making a couple appearances before he kind of rose to prominence with the first team. it was a lot. It was improving for sure, but not to the level that this team is because each and every game I've noticed, they are not happy with the results at one bit. And like the way that they're playing now is a little bit better, I would say, quality wise than last season. However, I mean, it's always a little like issue per game, like whether it be in the final third, controlling the midfield, uh, letting goals in. Each game kind of has like semblances of like great football, but I feel like the biggest difference from last season, at least, is last season was a little bit more complete and a little more patient, while this season it's a little kind of just figuring out like where all the players fit, where the new guys fit, because we also lost a lot of guys to Houston Dynamo 3 or Carolina Core. Um, so I mean, making all of these adjustments in one season is certainly a lot, and so I wouldn't be surprised if they need a couple more games to kind of just iron everything out and kind of just figure everything out before we start getting like better results.
Yeah, no, that's funny they mentioned Carolina Core, which actually they're still playing in the U.S. Open Cup, if I'm not mistaken. I think they won their first match. Uh, but no, you're right. They're gonna take it's gonna take a little bit of time for them to get it right. And I love the fact that you do see the observation of, yeah, there's only 3 games so far in, and we haven't really seen any of the first team players get minutes. So that's an improvement in general. I mean, we know that the second team, it's going to eventually be a place where we would probably see some of those guys get minutes. Hell, Hector Herrera, is he going to get minutes there? I mean, he hasn't played. You would think, right? I mean, we saw teenage Hadavi get some minutes after his injury. You mentioned Dorsey, Thor. Uh, yeah, there's quite a few. I was trying to see if there's any more injured. I mean, Ferreira didn't get any minutes, but it would be funny just because, um, we haven't seen Hector Herrera. He's apparently going to be playing in April 20th against Austin, and would he get some action there too? You don't know, but in all reality, the best part is just seeing all those young kids, 14, 15, 16 year olds from Houston get some minutes, and like I said, winning isn't everything. I mean, we all love winners, but at the end of the day, if they're able to, get experience, which is the most important thing in this academy system, and bringing up to the first team, I think that's the best case scenario. And I'm sure Kenny can't sleep, right? Because Kenny wants to win. I mean, you talk to the guy, he's a winner. He's not here. I think he understands the role of what Houston Dynamo 2 is, which is eventually going to be a feeder to the first team. But he wants to win. And like you said, Christian, you don't know. This could be his last season in general, because he got a taste of what being the head coach, even if it was for like a game or two with the first team a couple of years back. It's something that he's going to be definitely wanting. And a lot of the guys that, he's played with for a long time, they're gone. Obviously, he knows a lot of the academy players still, but what's going to be his nature? I love the way that he approaches coaching, because he is a very, player first coach, and putting them in front and getting to know them and being like the father figure to them. And it's really nice to see that. But in reality, like I said, Kenny wants to win, man. And it's a little heartbreaking that it hasn't happened. So hopefully this Thursday they'll get their first win at home. They got a pretty good crowd. The first game for sure, the home opener, and then last week I think it was a decent crowd as well that went out to the game and saw it. And just to confirm, Diego Carolina Core 2.0, they did in fact they play again tomorrow. So they're in the US Open Cup, man. Would it be funny, like a Houston Dynamo against Carolina Core? That'd be pretty funny, man. That'd be just like, yeah, perfect for it. But
and also, let me just throw this out. Minnesota United, who we face, or Dynamo 2 faces on Thursday, they actually are playing right now in the US Open Cup. They're playing Michigan Stars FC, and is 90 minutes, 0-0. So, I mean, they've been dominating this whole game, but they're going to extra time. So, depending on how their roster looks for this match, it might be obviously beneficial for us because they're playing in Minnesota right now. 90 minutes plus because they're going to extra time, and then they're gonna have to fly to Houston probably tomorrow, and play another game on Thursday. So
what you're saying,
it's
if Kenny Bundy does not win, then you probably you're firing him. Is that what you're trying to say, Christian?
I'm not saying that, but Kenny, no pressure.
Right? They're gonna come and bring like the fifth strings, and if you can't beat them, and then we have some issues there. But no, I think you're right. I think they'll be able to take advantage of it, even with the scenario that is happening with Minnesota playing US Open Cup. I think chances are high that we'll see the first win. And again, they've been playing very well. I just think some of the players continue to need to I guess be even more of a leader in this type of phases of not winning, like a Diego Gonzalez, who's your captain now. He's done well, he's playing well. He did miss a penalty in the first match, and that just gets with your psyche, man. If it it keeps prolonging from you to scoring and building up and getting wins. So hopefully that changes. We're gonna stay positive here, and think that they're gonna win. My prediction is they get a W. That's what I'm going with. I'm not gonna tell you what the score is, but I just want a W. So I hope you guys feel the same way.
Yeah, for sure. It should be a win for sure.
Diego's
like, no, they're gonna lose.
I don't see a win here. I'm sorry. I'm just I think it's gonna be like 2-1, and we're gonna score early. We're gonna be like super happy, and then like
Dang.
you are without your best player, possibly, right? If Exton tends to be out again, the rules change all the time in MLS Next Pro. If he's there, I think you win. Now, if he's not there, I don't know.
Also, I mean, Minnesota also hasn't won any games either. So is the two teams that have lost all their matches.
Who's the best of the worst?
Yeah, exactly. the battle, the early battle for wooden spoon and the MLS Next Pro.
I like it. Sounds like it's gonna be an amazing match.
Yeah, hopefully.
Tons of goals there. Right.
Hopefully.
All righty. Yeah. So make it out there on Thursday. It's actually Rodrigo's birthday that day. So it's Rodrigo's birthday and my sister-in-law's birthday. So I'm not gonna be there. I wanted to go, and I just got an invitation of like, you need to go to this dinner. And I was like, damn. Yeah, right. I have to. But yeah, so I won't be there. Christian, make it out there if you can, man. Diego, go start walking over here.
Get there in time.
Get there in time, man. You got 3 days. 2 days. All right. Let's go ahead and jump to the first team when it comes to the Dynamo. Big win, man, for the Houston Dynamo. They're on again 3-game win streak. Hey, any streak is good when you're winning, right? Any positive streaks here. So first time that they get more than one goal in a game this season. That's even better. Diego, you happened to be there at the game. Yeah, let's just start with you, man. What do you like about the atmosphere and just the team playing, man?
I mean, just to celebrate, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was win number 100 at Shell Energy Stadium. So, I mean, that's huge. I mean, and it certainly felt like 100 win worthy. It showed pure resilience from the team. It was a very physical game. San Jose, I believe, got 2 red cards by the end of the game.
They were dirty, man. They were physical, but it was a little. It was scrappy. It was dirty. No, what's the guy that got red carded for Preston Judd? I think it's his name. He was just fighting for no reason before the red card. He was just like, taking a little bit of time of following through on kicks, late tackles, late pushes. And yeah, he obviously ended up elbowing Sviatchenko, I believe that's what it was.
Yeah.
That he ends up hitting and goes to BAR. But yeah, no, you're right. It was a scrappy game, and to me, the biggest thing was that early goal as well for San Jose. It was the first corner. I was there at the game. I was watching it from a corner from my seats with my buddy, and I told him I was like, I think they're gonna score here. It was the second minute of the match, and sure enough, they were able to get a header, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I was able to talk to Franco after the game, not to get too ahead of ourselves, but I mean, especially throughout the game, it felt like the atmosphere changed so much. It felt like you could cut the tension with this like a pair of scissors at the very first couple of minutes, especially with that early goal. But by the end of it, it felt like a playoff atmosphere. It felt, especially after the Sebas Ferreira goal, it felt as if we were contending for MLS Cup. It certainly felt like there was like the support from the fans. And so, I mean, even with how dirty San Jose were playing and how physical they were trying to make the game, the Houston Dynamo by the end of it felt invincible.
I love that word because I feel like that's how it's been all season, right? Even whenever the Dynamo lost or drew, they were in games. They weren't getting outplayed. They have been playing very well the whole season. And San Jose gets an early goal, and you already knew that the plan was to let the Dynamo have the ball, which obviously they do. If Joey or Dustin were here, they'll tell us exactly how many passes. I think it was like 643 per game. I'm gonna throw that number out there. But yeah, no. So obviously the Dynamo are always gonna keep the ball. Now, what's difficult and what's frustrating, especially in this game, was they have the ball, but nothing really happens. Right? How many times you were like, take the shot, yeah, and you hear the crowd scream, shoot, like everybody wants somebody to hit that ball, and it just doesn't happen. They just keep looking for that perfect space or perfect window to get that, and it rarely happened. But as soon as the red card happened in the 35th minute, it changed the game completely because you already knew San Jose was going to play for to hold off that 1-0 that they got really early in the match, and they just parked the bus and they didn't really look for any more attacking the entire game. And it was just a matter of like, can the Dynamo break that? Because one of the big issues that the Dynamo have in reality is the fact that they don't really have anybody they can just sit there and completely break the opposition's defense, if that makes sense. It's all about they have the control. You play like Arthur, you have Coco, but there's not somebody like I guess I was gonna say a Neymar or a Ronaldinho, but even in lame words like an Albertellis or somebody that can break the opposing defense. There's nobody there, and the only way that they've been doing it all season is by breakaways at times, right? Finding Coco finding LAU out wide and beating them on a counter or a streak like that. But San Jose was so backed up, so compact. It was just going to be difficult to break them apart. And great for the Dynamo and the spirit of the Dynamo that they just didn't lose faith that everything they were doing was eventually going to work out. And you could just feel it. I think even before the red card, you could just feel that they were getting closer and closer to Jarborough's goal. And it wasn't until the second half that obviously we get 2 goals in 4 minutes. So Christian, man, Sebas Ferreira puts the first one in, man. Just talk about him and how big him getting that goal is.
It is probably one of the biggest things ever. I mean, for him getting a goal in kind of early-ish in the season, it probably couldn't have come at a better time. Obviously, the earlier the better. But I feel like this is the goal that the team needed to like Diego was saying, to kind of cut that tension and move forward with that win. I feel like we all saw it. You just mentioned it. They, San Jose scored, they parked the bus, and we needed a break, right? A break that was going to kind of open up that goal. So maybe a second or a third goal could come afterwards. And Seba Ferreira, happened to do what, strikers do, just kind of get a messy ball inside of the box, a messy turn and a messy shot. and it's just kind of like a messy goal all the way through. But all it matters that as a number 9, you kind of put it inside of the goal basically, and just kind of. And by messy, I mean like not pretty, by the way, not the other messy.
Yeah.
By the just in case there was any confusion, but it just kind of it was a number 9 goal. Just kind of get it wherever you can and just put it in the back of the net. And obviously, that's going to give him the confidence for future games. Is going to give him the confidence as a starter. Because if I'm not mistaken, that was the first game that he started this season. Because
Well,
Siegel,
he in the regular season, yeah, because he
yeah,
started with the Champions Cup, got injured really
yeah,
quickly.
exactly. Yeah.
Obviously, he was out. He gets an assist last game with Colorado, to win the
Uh,
game, and then he scores the goal. So it's good
yeah.
to see him get,
Confidence.
confidence and some scoring opportunities. So, like you said, even though it's a few games into the season, he did miss a lot of that. So seeing him get an assist and a goal in relatively short period, it's massive for Ferreira. The
I
only
mean,
bad thing is
take
it
him a
looked like
year, right?
it more than a year. I think he hadn't scored since like October 2022, if I'm not
That's
mistaken, because
wild.
he didn't score
This
at
is
all
his
2023.
first goal. This is his first goal under Ben Olsen, and
Yeah, that's
in,
true.
in that press conference, I was extremely surprised by this, but the amount of trust that Olsen has on Ferreira is insane. Like he went on record saying that like Ferreira is the number 9 and he will be the number 9 for the season. Like we are planning for him to start. And so like I mean first
That's
goal
wild.
under like
Yeah.
your new head coach is it's wild.
Yeah, and I mean, you just see the Go Christian, go.
No, I'm saying, and those words go a long way because
Mhm.
not only, as a number 9, not only you want to score goals and you need to score goals no matter what, but having the backing of the coach. Because obviously, I mean, we know that last year wasn't the prettiest
Yeah,
between both of them, right? Obviously, there was a misconnect or however a disconnection there that they were not communicating properly. I mean, obviously the language barrier is there, but now it seems like the team is kind of coming together as a whole, as a unit, and you see guys working for the better of the team. They're kind of, I think Sebas finally understood in a way
hmm
what Ben wanted, and I think Ben is kind of returning the favor, right? Like, you're gonna work hard for us, then guess what, this is gonna be your spot and I'm gonna put my trust in you. So it's great. Yeah.
and it's rare that happens, in especially in MLS, right? If you have a designated player, it happens elsewhere in Europe and Premier Leagues. Like there's people that get loaned out, but they're like 17, 18, 19, 20. Like they're guys that are barely trying to get minutes. In this case, Ferreira scored 13 goals in 2022 and then gets loaned
Yeah.
out because he just wasn't putting the work rate that Ben Olsen wanted from him. And he probably, we've talked about this enough that, he probably went with the mentality like, man, F this team, F this coach. I'm going to go wherever I go and I'm going to score goals. And he went blank. I mean, 0 goals in his loan spell in Brazil. So I think it was kind of like you get humbled, right? It just happens that um you maybe look back now and Ferreira's probably thinking, damn, he had a point. I was just a diva. I wasn't where I needed to be. I kind of came back lazy. I thought I was a made man, and that was not the case. And
Nope.
Olsen, one thing that he likes about all his players is that they work. He just wants people to work, and the results obviously are important to him as well, and that people score and all this. But if you don't work, then he sees it as like you're not going to even get a chance in the way that I want to play to score goals. And now you see a Ferreira, he looks built, he looks like stronger than ever. He's running a lot, he's sacrificing himself for the team. And like you said, Diego, I mean, it's right. Right now, a lot of people are asking, a lot of people being a lot of fans asking for a new number 9 or this or that, thinking that Ferreira was X, because where I was going with the point earlier was when you see a DP get loaned out, it's difficult to see them come back and get playing time again in this league. And we're seeing the opposite here.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, No, let me just kind of add, um, just because I was watching the game with my father in law, and I was just kind of obviously he doesn't know about the team a lot. Like he's he watches soccer here and there, but he's not
And
a super
neither
Dynamo
do
fan.
I. It's fine,
Yeah.
dude.
So we were just basically talking about the team and like the players and stuff like that, and I was like, well, it's crazy that technically this is not even our. I mean, I guess it's most of our starters, but like when you're missing Hector Herrera and maybe into the going into the summer, having some great additions come in. Hopefully, depending on what Pat and Nash are doing in the background. But there's only room to improve in this team. And it's crazy that obviously, San Jose maybe is not the strongest team to kind of go against, especially in a home game. But it was a really good showing of what the Houston Dynamo is, and we've been talking about it for like months now. That I think we now found an identity for this team. Like when you think of the Houston Dynamo, you're gonna think of a possession team, and you're gonna think of Benny Ball or whatever that is, modern football, whatever. But I think it's great. I'm just happy that we are able, or I'm able to sit down with somebody that doesn't, that knows soccer but doesn't know the team, and kind of just be like, oh yeah, this is a poor man's Man City in a way. We're gonna keep the ball. We're gonna try to keep the ball, control the ball, and move it around as much as we can. Find the gap. As much as I don't like it, take goddamn shots. But this is just the way that the team is going to play, and they're gonna find a way somehow, right? Like it's not the team from last year where me and Rudy we were just waiting for everything to kind of go to shit, or the previous Dynamos where we're like, oh, we're winning 2-0, but guess what? We might lose,
Yeah,
so
well,
don't
there's
get your hopes up.
Diego hasn't been here long enough to see the Tengo Miedo memes. Things
Yeah,
like, I mean, every now and then Manny posts them on the thing, but the last 2, 3 years, a lot of it was that, man. You start kind of feeling a little bit of fear towards the end because you're like, here it comes, man. Here goes the goal that's gonna tie it for them, or here goes the goal they're gonna win it for the other team. Like it
yeah.
was always a pessimistic because a lot of it there wasn't really a structure. And here you see the game, and Diego, you were there live. I mean, it gets to the point. Then after that, and we haven't even really talked about the Franco Escobar goal, but obviously Franco Escobar, which actually let's stop right there because I just thought of something. Franco Escobar, right? This guy has been playing left back all season and all of last year. He can't beat out Griffin Dorsey on the right. And what do we see? We see Sviatchenko get moved out, subbed out. They bring in Brad Smith to the left back position, and Franco gets pushed into the right center back position, which is not necessarily rare. He did play that a few times when he was in obviously in Argentina and with Atlanta United. But man, the guy he's that South American. The passionate guy that just wants to tag, wants to win. He's a winner. His mentality is to win. And you said you talked to him, so I'm sure you got a little bit more to add on that. But the guy's gonna be there and find it. And of course, just taking the play, Ali, you gets a great header. That's gonna be a goal, and Jarborough just somehow gets to it. I
He was
mean,
amazing.
and the way that William Jarver was in the perfect spot when it came to where Escobar was. He literally had Escobar had no room, no business scoring that goal, but he just powered the crap out of that goal and just passed it through. It was amazing. And again, you can just see the way he celebrates that goal is pure passion of we're here to win mentality, which is pretty good, man.
Yeah, and I mean, Franco Escobar, what a man. He did it in Atlanta. He did it in Los Angeles, and now he's doing it here. This is exactly why we signed a player like him. I mean, especially like when we did sign him, I was a little confused because I mean, we had our defensive line pretty like situated. I didn't really know where we would fit him in. And he's exactly Ben Olsen is exactly proving me wrong, and I'm so happy that I am because I mean, just like how you mentioned, he's like that South American that really just wants to be there, wants to give his everything for his team and win. I mean, the celebration showed it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I asked him like how he felt like the atmosphere changed throughout the game and how it fed him and his play. and he just said that it meant like everything for him because he felt like we as fans, like the fans, are like identified with the team now, and like Chris, you mentioned there's a new identity with this team that we didn't have in previous years. And this is exactly what's giving players like Franco Escobar the like the motivation to like go up
Yeah.
there and get a dirty rebound because I think it's so poetic how we like play to look for the perfect pass and the perfect shot. But both of the goals that we scored were the messiest goals I've ever
Yeah,
seen. It like
for
Yeah.
sure.
this is like
Sometimes you just
this
need a little bit of luck, and we talked about
sometimes
that, you know?
you need that luck, and I hope this inspires the other players like Amin Bassi, who can maybe shoot a little bit more.
Right.
But I mean, like, what a game for him because like he never backed down from the physicality and dirty plays that San Jose like put towards him all game.
Yeah.
And this is like exactly why, because he has that mentality.
And I will add, Christian, because I know you have something to say. But
No, I don't.
last week we were talking so much shit about how Franco Escobar tends to lose his shit,
Yeah.
and it's he's either gonna get a red card or like the passion, that he has, how passionate this guy is again, he wants to win. He's not gonna sit there and not give it his all. So his all could be getting a yellow, getting a red card, getting himself out of a game, or just beating the other team like he did this time with a goal. So Franco Escobar, man, whenever he can control his what do they call it? They call it something. Anger. Ah, man, I gotta think of that. Yeah, I gotta think of it now.
He's short fused.
Well, yeah, he definitely short fused. Controlled anger. Maybe that's what I was going with. So yeah, if he's able to kind of put that into a little ball and do it for the better of the team, is great. And not be Preston Jude that just is out there trying to get a red card like he did. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, you're right. I mean, San Jose put up a fair match, or tough match, just because of the way everything happened with the red card, then parking the bus, and it just wasn't enough. And at the end of the day, you need a little bit of luck, because I mean the Ferreira goal was not clean. It took a deflection and it went in. You count it either way as a goal. And then obviously Escobar, I mean, his goal was really good. It just, there's no way. I mean, Jarbro had the entire, there's no way that goal that ball should have gone past Jarbro, but it did. And we're all kind of happy that it did, right? So Houston Dynamo would go against Chicago Fire on Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. Should be a good match. Chicago's another, or a team from the East that is not doing all that great, and we can't take it out of the picture that the Dynamo could go over there in the Windy City and get some points. That should be a
Huge
fun
points.
match. So hopefully the win is not in their favor like it was last time
That's
when
wild.
Kalen Acosta hit that, I don't know, 60-yarder with the win in his favor. But let's just start with that, man. What are you guys thinking with this match? You guys think the Dynamo could pull another road point here in Chicago, Diego?
I mean, I want to start off by just saying, like, two Liverpool legends, Shaqiri facing off against Brad Smith. I mean, who could write it any better?
Classic.
I mean, um, but I do see a result for the Dynamo. I feel like Chicago, especially last season, and I mean, this is trickling in this season. They are kind of a mess because
Mm-hmm.
they cannot get anything just to click. I mean, they have quality on their team, like Brady at goalkeep and Shakiri, which I think is one of the most talented tens in the league. But I don't know where he uses it on the field. I, it's kind of like his talents and his skills isn't being enabled, and so I feel like the Dynamo really need to work on the wings. Use players like Aliu, use players like Bossi that can really stretch out Chicago and really get them to thin out, and that'll get you a lot of goals because this Chicago midfield is a mess, and I think that's exactly what they need to focus on for the game.
Yeah, no, it's kind of crazy because you see the names that they have in the roster, and you would expect them to be doing much better, just in general. And they just, Frank Klopa's their legend in Chicago, took over last year. I guess try to turn the ship around some, and to this, they just don't look as good as they should. Again, on paper, obviously, this past week they ended up getting killed 3-0 by Atlanta United in Atlanta. I mean, obviously, Atlanta's a tough play to or a tough place to go and play, but they're just not necessarily where they need to be yet. Chicago isn't. So hopefully that is still the case. Hopefully, when they face off on Saturday, Chicago's still not finding who they are, and the Dynamo are able to continue the positive streak going. Since they're gonna have a couple away matches before they come back home, so because they'll go to Chicago, then they'll do Minnesota United, and then they come back to play Austin. So, you know, winning on the road is a big deal in MLS. They're 1-for-1 now when it comes to getting 3 points on the road. So if they could find a way to get some points over there, even if it's a single point, 0-0, you take it. You take it and you run with it. Now, if you lose, I think at the end of the day, they'll probably lose gracefully as well. Because if, the Dynamo are having trouble scoring some goals, which they've had in the past. Like we mentioned, this is the first match against San Jose. They scored more than one goal, but they don't let in a lot of goals either. I think they've only gotten to score 4 goals this whole season, which is pretty incredible. Christian.
Yeah, I don't know stats, I don't know numbers, but no, yeah, I'm positive about this game. Obviously, you really want a good result against this, like Diego said, kind of beating up Chicago, because after that you do have a really good Minnesota team on the road as well. And obviously it's going to be harder for you to get those 3 points over there. So not saying that Chicago is going to be easy, but is more, accessible to getting a few points. So, those games that, what you're going against, in the sense of, this team might not be as strong and maybe they're hurting. You have to go, with everything and just try to get as many points as you can from them at home. And, because obviously every point will count and help out eventually. So, and, especially on the road when it's, extra difficult in the way that, this team has had a long history of not being good on the road. So obviously trying to turn the face around of an away team, or being not only a home team in a way, but also being able to win away. I don't know what I said, but you know what I mean. But I mean, I'm being
Yes.
myself. I'm pretty positive. I think a 2-0 win might be the result out there. I think same, Sebastian is doing great. He's feeling a little bit more kind of sure of himself, and hopefully Ali Yu can start actually moving forward with the ball, and just starting connecting a little bit more. I think a 2-0 game for us sounds about right. Sounds fair, and I think defensively we've been pretty solid. So I think we can shut them down. I don't think they haven't been strong on the attacking side of the ball either. So
I like the positive thinking here. Diego, let's go with you. Be the pessimistic one, man.
Oof. After
I'm,
I ripped Chicago, I have
no, no,
to
no,
be
no.
on their
No,
side.
what are you thinking? What do you think for this match, man?
I think it's going to be a 1-0 hard fought. I don't think Chicago, even if they are a little broken, even if they are a little beaten down by a very good Atlanta team, I think they are going to come in wanting and arguably needing this win, because they might be looking at the Dynamo in the same way that we're looking at Chicago right now. Because even though we won against San Jose, it was not convincing on their end. It was because of 2 late goals, a lot of red cards, a lot of scrappiness. From their eyes, they might even think Yachenko might be hurt, even though he's not. Um, so for Chicago, this Dynamo team also looks like a question mark, because I mean I haven't even talked about missing Herrera yet. Um, so I think they're gonna bring the fight, and so honestly, it might just be an Amin Bassi posse penalty that will propel us to the win.
That we need that, man. He has not scored a penalty yet.
No, he
So
is not.
yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm gonna be I think a draw, and the only reason why is because I think they can win. I do believe that they can win. But winning on the road is just not easy in MLS. And just because of that, I want to say that they'll get a point in Chicago. So a draw sounds fair, probably a 1-1 draw. But, this could be the streak continues, if they're able to stay positive, it's doable. I think Chicago's the place that you can go and get points. They've struggled. I think Cincinnati beat them already at home, and the other game was a win in Montreal. So this is technically the third uh, home, home game for
Yeah.
Chicago. So it like you said, I think it is though. After you get pummeled by an Atlanta, you don't want to come back and get it again against whoever at home. So uh can the Chicago end up getting a win? Possibly. I mean, again, home teams tend to do what home teams do and win. But if you are Ben Olsen, you're looking at this team thinking we can beat anybody, and I think he's proven that because they played very difficult teams this season, and they've stayed. They stayed in those games. So, yeah, draw for me. It's kind of what I'm feeling, man. Um, man, I kind of had a question for you guys that I was thinking of, but now I can't think of it. So because of that, Uh, we've pretty much touched on everything we're going to touch on. Obviously, no home Dynamo game or Dash for a couple days now, the 12th and the 20th. Make sure you go out to the Dynamo 2 match on Thursday. If you're here in town, if you're like Diego and very, very far away, just go ahead and watch it on Apple TV if you have it. Yeah, always make sure to catch it on that.
Always rep your H-Town teams, no matter how
Oh,
far you are. It's always possible.
always, man, always.
Shout out to that one guy that moved to Austin and became an Austin FC fan.
Yeah.
He's talking to you.
Yeah. Rushan said your mic sounded kind of sketchy. Is that what he's saying? Mike
Who's-
Monterey guy was sketchy. Is that what he
Oh,
said?
I don't know.
Kyle said he's gonna try to make it on Thursday. Make it on Thursday, man. Live close to the stadium. Oh, live close to I can't read live. I live close to the stadium, but man, I know, dude. Just make it out there if you can. It's fun. I like the SaberCat Stadium. It's a nice little stadium.
It's nice.
What's it called? Oh, Matt, tell the people, man, how they can follow you. I guess on Instagram. You're a photographer. Instagram. I was like Twitter. No, it's really Instagram. Instagram is where the pictures go. Where can they follow your work, man?
You're talking about me?
Oh, I'm talking about you, Diego. Yes. Did I say someone else's name?
Yeah, you called him
No.
Matt, I think.
Yeah,
okay.
that sounds right.
I was like, who the fuck is Matt?
Apologies for the mic. My AirPods are like dying on me, but you can totally follow me on Instagram at dub_mart_media, DUH_MART_media, and you can see all my work. I do
Good work.
NCAA basketball as well. So if y'all like some hoops, I mean, I cover that as well. But definitely check it out.
When are you planning to be in Houston? Like for the summer, I guess, before you go back.
I get back in time for the Austin game away. So after that, I should be covering all the games with y'all.
There you go, man. So we'll see more of Matt's pictures. That Dustin
He
sent to
called
use
me
from
again.
the archive. That's a Matt, dude. Okay,
Is my name
bad.
Matt now? Is my
No,
name
no.
Matt now?
You're Matt. Okay, so this is how it goes.
That's
The
it.
first
You're
time-
Matt.
The first time, but first of all, you remind me of a friend whose name is Matt, and then every time I see like your Instagram handle or on our Discord, my fucking head thinks Matt. For what I know it's like Martinez, but I'm over here thinking Matt in my head. And from the very beginning, I think I called you Matt with the guys, and he's like, they all were like, "Who the fuck is Matt?" Like, and I'm still here calling you Matt. So Kyle said he followed you. So there you go. At least somebody found you
One
on
follower.
Instagram. So you know, don't follow Matt, follow Diego for the love of God. Do what's right here. Uh Christian, man, but go ahead and tell the people how they can connect with us.
Yeah, go ahead and give us a follow. Check out our website, first of all, BayouCitySoccer.net. And that's where you're going to find everything. Go give us a little like. I don't think you can give likes to websites, but go check it out. And you can buy some merch for yourself, get something for your kids and stuff like that. Don't forget, go to Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Bayou City Soccer. You can check all the things there. That's where everything gets posted, game recaps, on game days we do the what do you guys call it, the game live tweet the games, I guess.
Yeah.
That seems long. I feel like there's another word for it.
What's it called? The Bold League, man. Tell people about Bold League.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know, but I do some commentating on the side for Vote League, play-by-play commentary on those. We have our semifinals this Sunday. Just found this account. Enjoy the pod. Keep it going. Became a Dino fan last year. Shout out Javier on the chat. Sorry. But yeah. Vote League, add Vote League on Instagram. You can check out the page over there. But yeah, we have our semifinals this weekend. We have two really, really, really good games. And honestly, those are going to be literally the four best team of the league are going to be playing each other. And then obviously the week after that is going to be the final. But two games back to back. If I'm not mistaken, one at 5:30, the other one at 8:30. I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be doing the play-by-play and commentary. So go check it out. Honestly, it's fun, really competitive. I think, I mean, it might be biased, but I think it's the best league in Houston when it comes to, talent and just kind of everything what those teams bring. So I would check it out for sure. I mean, if you're a Dynamo scout, give it a look. I think there's some guys that are worth just peeking at for a little bit. They're in their early teens. Some college players that are playing the university in St. Thomas, and just other players that have been like they go to college, come back and play Vote League. Honestly, it's really, really good talent, and I'm very excited to be part of the vision, of the idea of Sebastian and everything that he's bringing to Vote League. So go, if you can't make it out to Matias Almeida's training center on the northwest side of Houston, you can actually watch it on YouTube Live. You can watch all those games on the Vote League YouTube channel. So just type in Vote League. I think already has like 1,500 followers there. So it's gonna be awesome. Last year for the final, we had about, I think, 100 people in the place watching live, and I think our stream got up of over like 200 people watching live, and people literally watching from all over the world. There was people from Africa watching, Nigeria, people from Venezuela, people from Spain, people from Australia that were watching the games live. So it's fun. It's very exciting. And like I said, it's a lot of talent. So if you like soccer and if you're free on a Sunday night, go check it out. I think I sold it pretty well.
Talking about Sebastian and Ghost Town Saints, man, I know it's going to be difficult. You guys have a tall task in front of you, but if you guys get to the final, man, I'll be there for the final for sure, man.
There you go.
Yeah, come on, Ghost Town Saints. I just like the kid, man. It's a nice
It's a good kid.
And they played well, so that's why they're so far in the playoffs. So, Sebastian, hopefully you're listening to this. If not, I need to get one of those jerseys, man. Give me one of those jerseys. I don't want to be part owner or anything.
He's like, I just like the kids.
A jersey is fine for me. But man, thanks again, Christian, for joining us today. Diego, not Matt. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.
Anytime you want to hop on, man, and you're free, you are more than welcome to join. And with that, guys, man, don't forget to hold it down and keep it forever orange.